Before we get started, have you gotten my free resource, 10 quick tips to calm the chaos when you're feeling overwhelmed? Go to thesuccess.life/free resource. This ebook has 10 quick strategies you can implement right away to help calm you down and tame the chaos, even in the midst of your challenges. Go to thesuccess.life/free resource. Hello, my friend, and welcome to Press Pause. I'm your host, Janelle Bruland, and I'm here to help you regain control of your life for you. Each week, I will be giving you helpful tips and one thing you can implement immediately to overcome the chaos of life and take back control. I was once an overwhelmed, overcommitted entrepreneur, and I get what it's like to be balancing all of the things between work and home. And I'm here to help you take back control. Let's dive right in. Hello friends, today's Press Pause is the tip of how to stop obsessing over a problem. I'm sure that you can relate to this, and I've been there too, where my mind just keeps swirling, my mind keeps ruminating over a problem. And so if this has happened to you and you find that it really becomes overwhelming for you and you have a hard time shutting your mind off, then here's what I suggest that you do. Find some time where you can actually evaluate what it is that your mind is swirling over. If you're obsessing over a problem, what I mean by that is you tune into this overthinking, that you just think and think and think over this problem, and you're constantly trying to solve it in your mind. And oftentimes what you're doing is actually catastrophizing and thinking about the worst case scenario of what's going to be happening, and you're actually not doing a whole lot to solve the problem. You're just spending a lot of time thinking about it. So here's what I suggest that you do. When you take this time to think about the problem, first of all, write it down. What is the problem that you're obsessing over? Then ask yourself, are you catastrophizing? Meaning, are you looking at this problem and is what you're ruminating over the worst case scenario of what can happen? If this is the case, tell yourself the truth. So if you're worrying about the worst thing that can happen, write that down too. Just writing that down helps take some of its power away. And then look at what you've written and ask yourself, is this the truth? What are the chances are that this is really going to happen? Now, if it is something that can happen, then you can take that and begin to take some action steps toward it. But first, identify what is going on in your mind. Are you catastrophizing? What is it that you can do? Is it the truth? Is it not the truth? Okay, the next thing that you need to do then is to really think about this problem in a way that you can take some action steps forward. Because I know for me, when I start really obsessing about something, you can get to a point where you're doing so much overthinking that you can't think. Have you ever been there? And that doesn't help you solve the problem. So the next part, if you've looked at are you overthinking? Are you catastrophizing? Well, then I have another question for you. Are you thinking about things that are within your control or out of your control? So is the problem you're obsessing over, is there something within your control that you can do about the problem? Or are you obsessing about a problem to which you have no control? So think about that a minute. Are you obsessing about a problem to which you have no control? If that's the case, then my friend, it's time to accept what you can't control, because it really doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do me any good to obsess over something that we can't control. So if it's something that you can't control, then accept that and ask yourself this question. What can you control? We've talked about before, no matter what your circumstances are, and even if there's things that are happening in your life that you can't control, the one thing that you can control is this, and that is yourself. You can control yourself, you can control your reactions, you can control your response. So in this particular problem that you've been obsessing over, you're going to identify what you can't control, write that down, accept what you can't control, and then let's switch your focus to what it is that you can control. My friend, what can you control? You can control your attitude, you can control your reaction and your response. So what will that be? What is your attitude going to be toward this problem that you're facing? What attitude, what perspective can you bring to it? Can you ask yourself about what are the different possibilities that can happen here? Open your mind, broaden your perspective to what good can come out of this? What can I take out of this problem I'm obsessing over and make it into an opportunity? How can I shift my perspective on that? So think about that. Then, what action can you take right now? What can your response be? Let's say that this is a situation with somebody that you work with where you're having a conflict and you need to have a courageous conversation. How can you craft that conversation? How can you control that conversation so that you can come in with compassion, with care, that you can speak in their language to be able to help them through a situation? Think about how you can approach a situation with care and compassion. What is it that you can do to help with the problem? Okay, so that's what I'm suggesting that you do. This is the action step for you when you're obsessing over a problem. Identify what the problem is. Look at what you can control and what you can't control. Focus on what you can control and take action on that today. Thank you for listening today. Take that one thing you learned and start making it a habit in your life now. And be sure to tune in next week for another thing you can do to improve your life and be the best version of yourself. Cheers to making this time for you each and every day. If you're enjoying this podcast, will you please take a moment to leave a positive review? This helps get the message out to impact as many people as possible. And I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast. That way the episodes will drop each time a new one comes out. Remember, you don't have to be overwhelmed and overcommitted. You have the power to take back control of your life.